first start off with you for yourself. What did you notice yesterday? And what are the tools that you took with you from yesterday's class that you used today? And then what was your experience through today's class? You can just start with today's class. What was your experience through today's class? What are your questions or thoughts or feelings from today's class?
Happiness, excitement, sense of relief.
Hmm. Awesome. So what I would do is I would make them affirmations around that. Like, I am happy, I feel happy, happiness is around me, happiness is a choice. I would start to look at creating affirmations around what came to you so that you can I have affirmations all over. So I take like cards.
I have some written on my mirror
Yeah.
in the
So,
bathroom in lipstick.
yeah. Awesome. I love that from that video. There was I saw a video on TikTok or
Oh,
Instagram.
I've never seen one, but that's what.
Oh,
I
that's
wrote it.
awesome.
Yep. I used to put it on a whiteboard for my daughter. I would change it all the time for her growing up through high school and stuff.
Mhm.
She always struggled with things. So I would change her whiteboard with positive affirmations for her and stuff, but never for myself because, always the kids came first.
Yes. So I would create like 10 affirmations around each little statement that you got.
Mhm.
Whatever, I can't remember all the ones you just said. It's the not alone. I wouldn't use not
Mhm.
alone. I would, because the mind doesn't hear the word.
I actually put partnership or have a partner, something like that is what I wrote on my paper.
Awesome. Yeah. So
I actually got into even more like intimacy.
love it.
I wrote some of those things. I won't use the exact words on here, but
I love it. Yeah. So I would come up with 50 affirmations from your list, like taking a version of each one and writing a few affirmations around
even
it.
like way in the future, healthy grandma,
Yeah.
things like that popped in my head.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely write that down. Well, if you're
Mm-hmm.
not a grandma right now, you could say, well, unless do you want your children to have babies right now?
Oh, I would love it.
Okay. So then
But my oldest doesn't choose the right men, so she can wait. She says she's not giving me any yet anyways, but my youngest, she's not ready, but they do want them.
okay. Well, I'm just
Mhm.
saying you get to be mindful of what you ask for. So,
Yeah, I get that. I
right.
just want to be healthy when they do arrive.
But then that's how I would say that.
That's why I said healthy grandma.
Yes. So I would be like, I am healthy and I'm a healthy grandma when they come, when
Yep.
my grandchildren come. I would put it that way. So it's like
Right.
declaring it when they happen, not necessarily right now.
Right.
Yeah. So write down just different affirmations. I like to record my affirmations and listen to them. I find that super powerful. I'm an auditory person though. I learned through listening. So listening to myself, there is some very powerful experiences when you listen to yourself. It's already comes into your subconscious. It's very powerful. Doesn't, depends on your personality type. Some people like to see them, have them written up all over the place. I happen to like to read them and not read them. I use a mirror and I say them in my mirror and then I listen to them in my commute to Guidepost. It's where Heather works. So what other experience did you girls have?
I did Ho'oponopono. It was awesome.
Say it again.
I did this meditations that you recommend, Ho'oponopono.
Oh, yes. So you worked with that today?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's awesome. Very cool.
Mhm.
And what was your experience through today's class?
Oh, it's changed shift in me. I was no have energy. I barely show up for the class, and right now I'm so excited.
That's awesome. Beautiful. And that's all because you chose to do the work and you chose to show up. So you moved through your resistance, Larissa. That's big. It showed up in class. It showed up for yourself coming to class. So you should be super proud of yourself. Super proud of yourself. Awesome. Awesome. Cassandra, do you want to share anything? You don't have to if you don't want to. I don't want to make you feel like you have to.
Oh, I missed something. I missed something in the like the meditative part. I'm not sure what I missed, so I have to re-listen to the
Okay.
rest.
Okay. Well,
'Cause I
sometimes-
it didn't complete properly. So,
Okay. Well, let me know if you go through it, if it still doesn't complete properly, because you just might need a tweak somewheres for you. Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I want to share with you tonight, emotions are, like I said in the class, are attraction factor. And so really getting in touch with our emotions are super, super important. And processing our emotions are super, super important. What happens with a lot of people is they have an experience and maybe it brings up, let's say, anger. And then they don't process the anger, it gets stuck in them. And then they have another experience that brings up anger and then they don't process the anger. And now they got more anger and anger and anger and anger. They keep getting it, right? And then all of a sudden there's an explosion. But what caused the explosion is very small. Like it might be very small or it might not, but you just think of road rage. I look at road rage as so much unprocessed emotion because people don't take the time to process their emotions so that when someone cuts them off, it's like the end of the world, right? Like they get super mad, or maybe that's you. Like I remember like when my kids were little, I had company over and my kids spilled a glass of water on the floor and I didn't freak out. We just got a paper towel and cleaned it up or whatever. And my friend, after the kids left, she goes, "How did you not yell or get mad or whatever?" And I'm like, why? Like, and she's like, I would have flipped my lid. I'm like, oh, you got a lot of unprocessed anger. I didn't say that to her because I don't cross that boundary unless my friends want me to, you know. But and I'm just thinking, little things like that aren't meant to get us so mad. Like, there's reasons to be super mad, and then there's little things that make us mad. And the reason is because there's unprocessed emotion. Think about someone in your life that you barely know. Like you could be in a grocery store or maybe a coworker that you spend a little bit of time with, but not like an all-day coworker or even that. And they say something and you just get so mad at them. It's not your coworker. There was something in you, whatever the feeling is that they're triggering, it's already been stacked up. And now they're triggering that experience. And now you have all of like, whether it's sad or mad or angry or whatever. And now you want to let it out. For me, it was frustration. Frustration was my biggest emotion I lived in. Anger, frustration, and overwhelmed. That's where I lived. And so little things would make me feel overwhelmed. Little things would make me feel angry. And so I learned 3 ways to process emotions. And this is what I want to share with you girls tonight. And they seem to be very simple. And they are very simple, and they could be a process, meaning it might take some time and having to repeat them to process the emotion. So I'll first share the 3 ways and then I'll give you some examples and then you guys could ask me any questions, okay? The first way is through movement. So when you have an emotion, you get to move your body to move the emotion. Emotions are energy in motion. So if we get angry and we sit, the anger has nowhere to go. It starts to move inside us. And that's what creates this tightness, tension, and disease, right? So you want to move the emotion, whatever that is. And this goes for excitement. It goes for happy. It goes for all the good high vibrational emotions too, right? We still get to process them and experience them. The second way is through sound. And I want to share sound as you making sound or using sound, like drums or music or something like that to help you. And the third way is your breath, using your breath to move the movements, to move the energy. And so I like to use music and movement. Those are my favorite ways. And I'm going to give you an example. And women, we have more emotions than we do the English language. And that's the truth. Like, we have emotions that have no words. It's like, how are you feeling? Somebody, I told you yesterday was a super challenging day, and somebody's like, well, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure how I'm feeling yet. Like, I'm still working through it to actually put a word to what I was feeling, you know? And so one of the things, like, so one morning I woke up and I was kind of in a yucky mood. Like, there was no reason for me to be in a yucky mood, but I was kind of just in like self-doubt, a little bit of self-pity. And I was just like, I was like, I didn't know where it was all coming from, but it doesn't matter, right? So I drove my Brennan to school, Heather, and I came home. Heather works at my son's school. And I drove Brennan to school, and then I came home, and I literally came into my office where I'm at right now, and I put music on, and I danced to multiple songs until I was feeling happy and free and excited. I literally let that emotion move through my body. I didn't have to give it a meaning. I didn't have to make it my day, right? I was just like, oh, I feel kind of crappy today. And I just let myself move through it so that I didn't have to stay with it and or bury it or pretend it, like I talked about, pretend it, like what's that called, spiritual bypassing, pretend it didn't exist. No, I'm gonna just move through it. So I create multiple different playlists. And I use music and I just move my body. And I don't mean dancing, like, I just let the energy move my body, the emotions. So if I'm feeling sad, it might be more like closeness energy, or I don't know, it's all different for people, but I do teach an embodiment movement. I can't do that all here in just a few minutes, but it's letting your emotion move, not your body move to the music. So it's not, you don't have to dance on beat. It's like, let the emotion begin to take its own form in your body. Does that make any sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it might be dancing to the beat. It might not be moving. And your emotion might want you just to be still. Or it might want you just to be like this. Or maybe it's just a finger or a hand that moves. Or maybe it's all of the above. But it's finding that movement, and that for me, the sound comes from song. It doesn't have to be. It could be instrumental. It could be yourself making a sound. Some of my clients, some of the women I work with, like to scream into a pillow. All that does to me is hurt my throat. So I don't do that. But it works for some people. I'm just sharing some things, right? Like some people that works for. To me, that's not. Some people like to hit a pillow because that's movement and moving the energy, like, so they're not hurting themselves or anybody else. It's going into a pillow. I happen not to like to express my anger that way. I like to just move my body and let it go out my body. So, so that's how I process. And then with the breath, just think about, like, if you're angry, if you take 3 deep breaths, or if you're angry, you just like let the breath come, like, I don't know, have the expression of what you're feeling. there's no right or wrong way to do any of these things. It's really just becoming present, like we talked about yesterday, grounding yourself and allowing yourself to then let your body and your move and your breath move to whatever it is that you choose to listen to, or whatever sound you want to make. Any thoughts or questions? What's your takeaway? What's landing for you guys?
Movement and sound.
Yeah, movement. Dancing through the
Yeah, I love dance through my music.
Or
I mean,
if it's something at work, I would probably do breath.
your breath. Okay, yeah, it's so good. Or even-
Situational.
Yeah, yeah. Or if there's an opportunity just to take a quick walk.
Or go out in the parking lot.
Yes, yeah, yes, for sure.
Sometimes actually I've gotten in the car. I'll be right back. I'm running to get lunch, and I'm not really running to get lunch.
You just need to.
I just go in there, turn on the music, or self-talk myself sometimes.
Yeah, that's perfect. And you know, maybe you get to pause before you do that stuff, because that stuff is so important. Maybe you get to pause and move the energy with the song before you then have that, right? Because we want to feel what we're feeling. We don't want to mask our feelings. We want to honor every feeling you have deserves to be seen and witnessed. Every feeling doesn't mean you have to live in that feeling. It doesn't mean that feeling is who you are. But if we don't honor our feelings, that's part of you. Right? Then we're not honoring part of us. And that's not going to help you. Right? That causes tension. Like, just think of two people that aren't in agreement. It's not going to be a happy body. So we want to honor the feelings that we're having and express them. Let them be seen, let them be witnessed. It doesn't mean they have to stay there.
sometimes can shut down and can talk for days. And no, it's not good, but some part of me just don't want to say what I feel in right this moment, because I think nobody understands what I'm going through. It's very obvious, but nobody see it.
Yeah. So what you can do, Larissa, is here's what I like to do, because I don't want to waste days being upset or being angry. So I give myself a time frame, somewhere between 30 minutes and 2 hours. And I let myself be in whatever that else. I call it a pity party, but nobody understands me. No one gets me. No one can help me. I can't talk. And I let myself, or I use a friend and I do what's called an energy dump. And I say, I don't want any advice. I don't even want feedback. I just want you to be able to listen to what I got to say with no comments. I'm not here I just want you to hold space for me. And
I
then
do
let
that
it
to
all
my
out. And you
I do that to my mom. Mhm. I'll call and I'll just go, I don't want you to say nothing. I just wanted to let it out.
Yeah. And one of the things you could do, Heather, is make sure she's okay with that.
She is. That's why I do it.
Okay. Yeah. Like, just giving, like, when people do that with me, I'm like, I'm fine with that, but you got to give me a warning, because I'm an empath, and then I'll take all your energy, and I don't want to take it.
Yeah, I usually start the conversation. I'm here to vent. Is that okay? You got
Perfect.
a minute? And then I go,
Yeah, there you go. That's setting a nice boundary, or giving her an opportunity to set a boundary, right? So Larissa, you want to give yourself that come up with a time frame,
Mhm.
and then just like you did today, you made that decision to do something different.
Yeah.
So you have that capability because you've already demonstrated it here. So then you give yourself like, okay, it's 1 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, I am not letting this run my life anymore. And then whatever you need to do to move the energy,
Do it.
do it. And then at 3 o'clock, you get to choose a different way of being.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or, whatever you decide.
I understand.
Yes. Emotions are the key to life and really getting in touch with the way you feel. One great exercise, I'll give you this one last tip before we close out. One great thing to do for yourself is to really get to know you. And I do this with my eyes closed, and I just start to like touch skin to skin. When babies are born, they're like, moms and babies need to bond skin to skin. Think of yourself as bonding with yourself, right? Like if you're anything like me, you're very disconnected from your body. I was disconnected from my body. And so really getting, like, you can literally just take your arm in your hand and you can put a whole hand on it and you can rub it, right? And you can just see like, oh, do I like that? Do I not like that? Maybe I like just a light touch. Do I like that? Do I not like that? Maybe I just like one fingernail. And just start to get to know what you like. Maybe have the intention of like touching your arms up to your neck and coming down, and just notice the feelings that are coming up through your touch. So maybe it's physical feelings, or maybe it's like, when I first started to do this work, it was shame. Like I couldn't even touch myself. I couldn't touch my boobs. I couldn't touch my belly. I had so much shame in my body. I couldn't do any of that. But I
Yeah.
didn't know that. And what'd you say?
Me too.
Yeah. So maybe it starts to like, oh, this is bringing up shame. Let me go process shame and go through your three things: the movement, the sound, the breath, and start processing the shame. And then you come back and you be like, oh, okay, I processed it, or it's less intense, or it's, it's starting to shift. So that's a great, great tool to get to know you and to help you with your emotions. So you guys got a lot to work with today. And tomorrow is going to be a big shift. I will be making a special offer tomorrow to work deeper with me in my Fear to Freedom program. If you're interested, before I make the official offer, because I do have limited space, if you are interested, just go in the WhatsApp and say Fear to Freedom, and I'll reach out to you and we can talk about it. Okay. Before I make the official offer tomorrow, I would like to offer it to you guys first. So we can have a conversation around that if that feels like something you want to work deeper. So tomorrow's class is going to be great. You're gonna learn a lot. You're going to go through some lot and use your pattern interrupt. You guys also now have these other tools to use to process some of your emotions. Any questions before we sign off?
Yep, thank you.
Yep. All right, awesome. Have a lovely night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Bye.